Hello, this is Kayse Budd, the Astro Muse. I'm kind of on a roll tonight. I've recorded several videos because I've been a bit quiet the past few weeks, so I have a whole list of different topics I've been collecting that I want to talk about. So right now I want to talk about an astrology topic that comes up a lot in my readings, and in order to make use out of this video, you're probably going to need at least a little bit of astrological knowledge. You're going to need a copy of your chart, and this video might be more useful to people with more significant astrological knowledge. If you're a fully professional astrologer, you probably already know this info, but even if you're a maybe advanced hobbyist astrologer and you're working your way towards the professional level or semi-professional level, this video could provide even more nuance to you and for your readings. So, okay, the topic is hints about career in an astrology chart. Now, this is something that, almost everyone who comes to do an astrology reading asks about. They want to know about their career, they want to know about their love life or their family. So yeah, it's very important. And there's multiple different things that I use and that I look at to help me answer that question, the question about career. Love life is a separate topic, and I actually did a video about that already. It's very advanced though, so it's on my page if you want to see it, but it's advanced, pre-warning. You need to understand some astrology in order to follow that video. So, okay. And like I said, you might need to know probably a little less, but some about astrology to follow this video as well. Okay, so I've got my chart up over here on the side that I'm going to use as an example. And the thing that you want to look at for the career is the 10th house first, but also the 6th house and the 2nd house. That's kind of where I start. There's more than that though, so I'll get to it. But starting with the 10th house, that's usually where I go first because that really is the more classic career and public image area. Some people have less emphasis on public image and less emphasis on maybe a leadership position in their career or being their own boss, kind of personal business. And those people tend to have a little bit more going on in their 6th house. Most people have some predominance either of the 6th house, which is a little more behind the scenes kind of career, or working for an organization or something like that. And if somebody has more energy in the 10th house, they might still work for an organization, but they're usually going to be in a leadership position in the organization, or they're going to have their own business or kind of their own career kind of in the spotlight. So that's a little bit of a distinction between the 6th and the 10th, but they're both important. And sometimes people have things in both of them, and that can mean that they work for an organization part of their career, or part-time, or they do a little bit of both basically. They might start their own business, and it might be a kind of organization that they also have to work behind the scenes in as well. So yes, so you want to look at the 10th house first. So you see what sign the 10th house is in, and that gives you some themes and some indicator of energies that are important for them or likely for them in their career. So Aries, for example, starting with the beginning, those people are there's a kind of fast, impulsive, sporty, political sometimes energy with Aries. So if Aries is on the 10th house cusp, the person could be interested in politics, sports, something athletic, even dance, personal training, military, activism, sales, because there's this kind of spunky. They could also be an entrepreneur because there's a startup kind of vibe with Aries. There's more, But those are just some general thoughts that would get me started regarding Aries. When Pisces is overhead, which is actually what I have overhead, the person tends to have a more spiritual career, or something that involves film, or something that involves water, something that involves arts and mysticism. So they could be a spiritual teacher, they might be a yogi, they might be an artist, they might do something in film, acting, producing, television, something like that. And I will say that basically all of those things interest me. There can be, again, something that has to do with water, healing. There can be the less likely possibility of something with chemistry or pharmaceuticals or something like that. So that's Pisces. Gemini will often have something to do with communication, because that's a very communication driven sign. So this person that could be in journalism, speaking, teaching, writing, that sort of thing. Possibly politics with them too. Capricorn, and so if somebody has Capricorn on the 10th house cusp, that's usually means they have Aries rising, but it's a favorable thing that gives them a strong, hardworking ethic, and they will often start a business or contribute to a business that might be very structured and complex. So they might work for a large company and kind of climb up the ranks. They might do something that has to do with building or construction. They might build furniture, something more stable, because Capricorn is a very stable energy. So again, that's either a long-standing business, possibly government, possibly, like I said, something that has to do with real estate, or something more dense, like building furniture, again, is another option. But it's usually something business oriented is Capricorn. Sagittarius is a very active energy, very truth-seeking. This could be good for sales. There might be some kind of traveling aspect. There could be some spiritual aspect to this career. There could be a spiritual teacher or something like that, or a preacher, or a just a more casual spiritual teacher that teaches outside of a church and teaches maybe more privately, or writes books or something like that. There could also be a sporty explorer type of, travel agent, or tour guide, or adventure tours or something like that, rafting guide, anything kind of explorer vibe could also fit with Sagittarius there. And there, because it's kind of spunky and fiery, there could also be something sporty or something sales that's possible. That would be like a little less likely. Scorpio, if Scorpio's there, the person has psychological abilities and research abilities, so they might be interested in research and psychology of some sort, but they're also interested in birth, death, and transformation, so they could be involved in jobs that have any of those themes, helping people transform. I had a client who did kind of organizational type mentorship and mediation, trying to help people within a much greater organization resolve their differences, and she had Scorpio on the 10th house cusp. Libra on the 10th house cusp will usually bring somebody into work that involves money or art. Those are two Libra themes. So you can find your financial people here. You can find lawyers sometimes because of the balance aspect and fairness, but also some people who are art dealers, art boutique owners, and that sort of thing can sometimes have Libra there. Or some kind of art business, fashion director, fashion designer, creative director, that sort of thing. Virgo gives a very health-oriented and duty-bound, service-oriented type career. It can be in the health sciences, like a doctor or nurse or PA or something like that. Could also be someone just very service-oriented, though, someone who's really like serving the people. That could be a police officer, although they usually, Mars could also, Aries overhead or strong Mars overhead could also be a police officer. But just the idea of duty and service in the career, which could be in a lot of different careers. A firefighter, again, might also have Aries because of that fire element. But let's say EMT, and even like a teacher, somebody who works for a nonprofit or something like that could have Virgo overhead, just as long as there's a sense of service in what they're doing. Leo overhead often will be a performer, can be having one's own business. Something creative, could be artistic, acting, could be sales, though. I've seen some people who are great at sales because these people have charismatic, dynamic personalities, and they, are good at selling and performing. So those two energies will usually be utilized in their career. Cancer overhead usually is a caregiver type. This might be a nurse or somebody who does home health or works with babies or children or something like that. Women can work with women. You could also do something that is nurturing to others. Could be like working at a health center or a spa. Could even be like working in a plant nursery. Could be something regarding the ocean. Could be something regarding food, because food is nurturing for others. So something along those themes. Aquarius, kind of went out of order there. I skipped Aquarius. Aquarius is very progressive and humanitarian. They will often do something science-y or maybe tech. They may do something humanitarian, though, so it's usually kind of one of those different energies that's associated with Aquarius. So something humanitarian, something science-y, something tech, usually. Taurus usually does something associated with money, because they're very associated with money or houses or real estate, but they can also do something very sensual, clothing, home goods, decor, decorating, that sort of thing. They could also do something with the land, like farming. So things along those general themes. So that tells you a bit about the 10th house, and then you want to look at where's the ruler of the 10th house. So what planet rules the 10th house and what placement does it have? So in my chart, the ruler of the 10th house, my 10th house is in Pisces, the ruler is Neptune, and it's in the 6th house. And the 6th house is the Virgo house that's associated with health. I have come to observe that many doctors have this kind of placement, where the ruler of the 10th is in the 6th for many doctors. Not all, but many, quite a few. And that means there's this link between the 6th house associated with service and health with the 10th, which is like your public career. So even though I'm also very mystical and spiritual teacher and an artist, and in some ways all those things could be my career, I also still have this link back to health as well. So my career has always been an attempt to kind of blend all these things together. I'm also very interested in film and television, and potentially writing for television or having my own show or something like that, and or even producing something or something like that. And those things are very strongly associated with Neptune and Pisces energy. So people who have Pisces overhead and then Neptune in the other part of the service career area, those people have like a double whammy, indicating they might have some interest in film and television and media and that sort of thing. So That's definitely true of me, but like I said, it also indicates kind of an interest in healthcare as well, or health and service. So yeah, so there could be multiple different examples of that. So you just look at what's the 10th house cusp and what's the ruler. And if you don't know much about astrology, you have to look up what's the ruler of each sign. And then you have to find that ruling planet in the chart, and that gives you a little further information about influences in the person's career. So, and then we look at the 6th house and we see what sign is the 6th house in. I'm not going to go through them all like I did for the 10th, because it's somewhat of a similar meaning as to what I said for the 10th. But you look at what the 6th house cusp is. Mine is in Scorpio. So this means I'm good at psychology and birth, death, and transformation. And those energies might be important in my career. And it's true. I am a psychiatrist, and I'm very interested in transformation. And even now that I practice a little less psychiatry, I do more kind of coaching and mentoring and kind of transformational work. So that energy has continued to be kind of a strength for me and important in my career, even though I've sort of evolved what I'm doing over time. And this could be true of many people. So many people evolve what they're doing over time, and they slowly kind of hit the different points that are mentioned in their chart for things they're supposed to be doing and supposed to be learning and supposed to be including, and things they're supposed to be doing for service. So I think that's perfect, for some people to be evolving what they're doing. So you also look for the ruler of the 6th, similar to what you did for the ruler of the 10th, and you see where is that ruler, what house is it in, what sign is it in, and it tells you a little bit more information. I didn't say what sign it was in for the ruler of the 10th, but that's also important. What sign is the ruler in? That gives you a little bit more detail about what might be important to this person's career in terms of themes, what position it's in. Same thing for the 6th. What sign is it in? What position's it in? And that tells you a little bit more about something that might be important to their career. It might even be, mine is located in the 4th house, which tells me that working from home or having some kind of home business, or I've always wanted a healing center on some land where I actually lived. I might do that one day. I'm interested in real estate as well, kind of as a side business or interest that I might get into in the future. So the 4th house can be associated with all of those things. And, so again, you can just get different nuances about people's career from the position of the ruler and the sign that it's in. And then for even more information, you can look at the 2nd house, which is the money-making area, and you can see what sign it's in. Mine is in Cancer, which means I could make money by Cancer-type themes. And Cancer is associated with caregiving. So this is yet another suggestion that something about nurturing others and caregiving is something that I might do to make money. Something that might be associated with food or the ocean or water or something like that, or emotions, because Cancer is a very emotional sign. Might have to do with how I make money. And the emotional thing definitely relates to psychology and coaching. So, and I also do a lot of work with women, and Cancer is a very female-oriented sign. So I don't exclusively work with women by any means, but it is kind of a sub-focus within my work. So there's that. So then you want to look at the ruler. Where's the ruler of the 2nd? And that'll, again, similar to the 6th and the 10th, tell you a little bit more information about how the person makes money. And you look at both the sign and the placement of that ruler. And then you want to look for planets in each of these houses. So planets in each of these houses tell you how important the career is to these people. Some people don't have any planets in their 2nd, the 10th, the 2nd, the 6th, or the 10th. And this is a person for whom career is not that important. Most of their lessons and their life purpose is in other areas of their life. And if they're a person who has to work because they need money, this can be very frustrating because they may really struggle what to do, and you can still give them advice based on the sign that's on the cusp. But if planets aren't there, it just wasn't a key part of their destiny. So that's important to realize. If planets are there, then it's more important for them. If there's a lot of planets there, it's very important to them. It might be their key thing in this lifetime, might be career. And if it's a more service-oriented career, if there's a lot of planets in the 6th, and it's a more leadership-oriented or public career, if there's a lot of planets in the 10th. And then the nature of those planets tells you more detail, again, about nuances and things that might be in the career. So, for an example, even asteroids. So I have multiple asteroids, really 4 asteroids, and the planet Jupiter, which is a teacher energy and a spiritual guide, in my 10th house. So this means I definitely am a teacher and a spiritual guide as part of my career. And I also have Vesta, which is a kind of mentorship archetype. And I do love mentorship, and it's a key part of my career. And there's also Athena there. And Athena is, to me, associated with astrology. She's associated with patterns. So people who are very good at pattern recognition have Athena in a strong position in their chart. And if Athena plays a role in their career and pattern recognition plays a role in their career, they often will have Athena in the 6th house or the 10th house. Sometimes in the 2nd, but usually the 6th or the 10th. And this can be, a person who, again, is great at patterns, and doctors are great at patterns, and astrologers also need to be great at patterns. So, so that's going on in my chart. So look at those different things and information about how the person might make money, or the way they spend money, or their relationship to money might be shown by planets that are in the 2nd house. So you kind of put all of that together, planets in the 2nd, planets in the 10th, planets in the 6th, plus all of the above that I already explained, and that tells you a lot about a person's work life. Okay, so those are kind of the key things, and I would say that the outside remaining bits are really just analyzing the chart to look for other strengths. If the person has just a lot of planets in another part of their chart showing a standout strength, that's important. They possibly will want to weave that into their career, and it might influence their career. Or if a person, for example, has a bunch of things in the 1st house, they're probably going to have a very public career and might be a performer or something where they're seen, because that's what a lot of planets in the 1st house will do. The rising sign is a strong part of their personality. The moon is a strong part of their personality. So again, these energies will most likely relate to their career in some way. But many people are meant to do multiple different things. So just keep that in mind. And, astrology involves analytical abilities, and you have to kind of blend together all these different factors and patterns, and it's kind of hard to predict exactly the one thing that somebody's going to do, because again, it might evolve, but you can predict themes that would be a good fit for people. Okay, I've definitely followed this in my own life for the past 20 years or so, and it's really helped me, and it's enabled me to refine and evolve what I've been doing really consciously. Kind of knowing my astrology chart and knowing what's in it has enabled me to depart a little bit from things I was feeling were a little less fulfilling, and confidently move towards things I felt were more fulfilling and were definitely in my chart, and basically then supported by my soul. Okay, hope that helps you. Aloha.